Hi everyone, I'm Katie with That Cozy Fox, and I'm so excited for you to join me today because I am going to show you how to crochet my best-selling pattern. That's the Crochet Mini Plant Hanger. This is a great pattern for beginners, so I hope you'll join me today and learn how to crochet this for free. Okay, so to get started on this project, here's what you're going to need. You need a measuring tape, a size 4 cotton yarn. I like to use Hobby Lobby's. I love this cotton, but you can use any brand that you like. A size H 5mm crochet hook, yarn needles, and a pair of scissors. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do for round 1 is you're going to start off making a magic circle and a chain 1. If you don't know how to do that, then you can look back at my latest video before this one, and it gives you the directions on how to crochet a magic circle. I do like to make sure there's going to be a few inches of a tail when I do this, and then we're going to work 12 half double crochets around the magic circle. So there's one. I don't use this hook very often, so I'm getting used to the length of it is different than my older one, than the one I usually use. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now if you find that you didn't leave very long of a tail, you can always pull it a little bit to give you a little more room. Now I've lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 more. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now I'm going to pull it to tighten to close the circle. Pull the tail out to the right side of the project before I join. I'm going to join into the first half double crochet, not the chain 1. Join with a slip stitch. If I can get it through, there we go. And then I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to skip over the next 2 half double crochets. So I have the one I joined in, and then skip over 1, skip over 2, and into the third one, I'm going to work a slip stitch. And then I'm going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now skip the next 2 half double crochets and into the third one, work a slip stitch and chain 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I do this one more time. Skip 2, the third one, slip stitch, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm getting back to the beginning. I am going to actually work a slip stitch into that first half double crochet that I started out with, the same as the join. Okay, and now I have just completed round 2. Okay, so now round 3, what I'm going to do is chain 2. And I'm going to slip stitch around the third chain of the previous row. So that'll be right here. I'm going to make a slip stitch. And that just kind of gets me to a good starting point for the next round, where I'm going to chain 6 and join to the middle of each of the chain 5 loops. So chain 6 now. And now I will slip stitch around the next loop, the middle of it, chain 6, repeat, and I'm going to keep doing this until I have 4 loops that are 6 chains long. Here's the last loop. So now I'm back to the beginning of my chain 6 of my round 3. So I'm going to slip stitch into that slip stitch to join. And then I can start round 4. I'm going to chain 3. And now I'm going to join around the slip stitches about the middle. Since there's 6, even number, you just kind of have to do it in the middle of your chain 6 loop. And slip stitch. Oops, lost it. Nobody's perfect, as I clearly show. Okay, now I'm going to chain 7 all the way around like I did in the previous rows. So now I'm going to join into that slip stitch, and I'm going to, for the next round, round 5, this is our final round, and this round is kind of choppy, but what you'll do is you'll chain 3 and you'll slip stitch again into the middle stitch of the chain 7 round, around it, into it. It doesn't really matter. I've done both. Okay, so now pause for a second. I'll show you. We have the nice little, like the little basket part of our hanger. So now we're going to make the handles, and you can really make this any length you want, but in order to fit around the rear view mirror, I found that chain 40 is good. If you have one of those giant rear view mirrors, you might need more. So I'm going to chain 40, and then instead of joining into the next loop, I'm actually going to skip the next chain 7 loop and join into the one after that. So that way the handles go across the basket. So we're going to chain 40 now. 1, 2. Okay, so I've got my chain 40. So again, I skip the next one and go to the one that's directly across from it. And I like to slip stitch into what would be the 4th chain instead of around it. Slip stitch, and then you're going to do a chain and give it a good length. I would say 7 or 8 inches. Cut it and pull it through, and you fasten off. Now you go to the first loop that does not have anything attached to it, and you are going to start from here, leave a good length, and you're going to join up your yarn, pull it through, and you're going to chain 40 again. Okay, now that I have chain 40, I am going to attach it to the chain 7 loop that is directly across from it, the one that does not have a chain 40. So I want to do it from the outside to the inside, just for the best look, and I'm going to do it right into that 4th chain of the loop. So do a nice slip stitch and then fasten it off, and again leave a good length of yarn. So now you are all done crocheting the rounds for your plant hanger, and it's time to weave in the ends and add the tassel, which is the next thing that I'll show you. To weave in the ends, you're going to want to take your yarn needle, and this part is really easy. You just kind of weave it through to the bottom. And make sure to kind of put it in the center because this is where your tassel is going to be, and you kind of use these as part of your tassel. It's a good way to hide your ends. What I do is I just kind of like go over under each stitch. It's not the most technical form of weaving, but it works well for this project. And then just kind of shoot it out in the middle. You don't want to pull too tight because it'll make your side really short. So what you do after you pull it through the bottom, make sure you give this a good pull so it stays the right length, as you can see that I did. So you're going to do this with all 4 sides. With the side that you had to join on for your second one, make sure you tie a knot make sure you tie a knot so that it doesn't come loose. That's the only thing that you need to work on. So here's my side. And what I do is I insert my hook into that first stitch. Sorry, I'm holding the needle in my mouth right now. And I pull the end through and then pull the end through that loop and then kind of tie it off that way. Usually I do it a little tighter. It's not on camera, so it's a little easier, but you'll make it look nicer, I know. So I'm just gonna finish doing these last 2, and then I'll show you how to do the tassel at the bottom. Okay, so I've got these down to the bottom. You can kind of see how it's gonna look. So for this next part, to make the tassel, I do it just a little bit differently than I have it in the written pattern, only because it's after time I found that doing it this way is a lot easier. It saves a little bit of time because when I make these, I make like 10 or 20 at a time. And so everything to save time. So what you want to do is take your yarn and you're going to measure 16 inches. So I've got 16 inches. Cut it, and you want 6 of this length. So now you'll fold them in half and cut it in the middle. So now I have 12 pieces that are 8 inches long. I'm going to take 2 of them, put them over here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half, but leave a loop so I know where the middle point is. Okay, now this part is how you attach the tassel to the bottom. So I like to, first of all, I have 4 strings down here. I like to kind of crisscross them. So I take 2, go to the right, 2, go to the left on the inside. That's just something I like to do. There's probably no reason behind it, but helps, I feel, make it more secure. So I'm going to now take just 1 yarn, 1 string that I've cut, take my hook, and I'm going to insert it from the bottom, the outside to the inside, grab my yarn one end and pull it through, and then I'm going to do it on the other side and grab the other end and pull it through. Gonna even these out, and here's where I take the middle point of the yarn of the ones remaining, and I'm gonna put it right in the middle of the bottom of the little basket. So I take the 2 that I pulled through and I'm going to tie 2 knots. 1 and 2. This makes sure it stays tight. and it keeps the tassels attached. And you can see, because I switched those through, see, there is a reason for it. Because I crisscrossed those, you can't tell the difference. They don't stick out randomly on an edge. They're all together. And then you have one remaining string left, and you're going to wrap it around. You can wrap it twice if you want. This one I'm just doing once. So I tie my regular knot, then I'm going to tie another, I think it's called a square knot, I'm not sure, but you make like a 4 and then pull it through, and that keeps your strings hanging straight down and not going everywhere, and it just looks really nice. Then you can just trim up the bottoms. I don't like to keep them perfectly even, but some people do. So trim it as much as you want. Thank you so much for watching and crocheting along with me today. I hope you found that tutorial to be simple, because it is meant to be very simple. If you would like the written instructions, you can buy them in my Etsy shop, That Cozy Fox. It's a really cheap pattern, and I'd appreciate the support. Also, I would love to see your pictures. I want to know what colors you use to make these, and I want to know if they're selling well for you. I sell so many of these events. That's why I love making them, because they're quick. They don't take up a whole lot of yarn, and people just love them. So if you follow me on Instagram, it's That Cozy Fox on Instagram, then you can tag me in your pictures, tag me in your stories. I would love to see what you've come up with. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you for my next tutorial.